Hey, true believers. Chris Matt coming at you with Weapon X number 2 as we continue our reviews through the Age of Apocalypse. And this, since I was a kid way back in April 1995 when this book came out, this has always been one of those covers that stuck with me. I always love the composition of how you can see Logan free falling and everything just kind of moves upwards. Just a great composition by the art team there. Love it. Love it. So, as we see here, Jean starts to kind of have a change of heart after we saw at the end of issue 1. This one's called Fire in the Sky. And this kind of just gives you a run through of what Jean and Logan did, disabling the mid-Atlantic seawall so that all the Sentinels could save the humans in America, which we'll go through in Amazing X-Men. But before we go any further with that, let's talk about who made this book. This is Larry Hama script, Adam Kubert pencils, Dan Green inks, Pat Brasseau doing the letters, Joe Rosas doing the colors, Digital Chameleon doing the separations, and Bob Harris was the editor. So as we kind of see all these humans migrating into Europe, we are treated yet again to another gorgeous 90s vertical splash page. And it's just the scale of this. I mean, look at everything going on. We got these giant Sentinels flying in, guarding. We have someone checking humans in. We have people being detected. We have little kids tragically, look familiar with having to wear certain things on your clothing. Very much remnant of the Holocaust, which is kind of what this hellscape is. Just gorgeous work by the art team. And this is where we find Jean helping with the evacuation of North America. Now, Jean and Logan are kind of, at this point, drifting apart because of what Braddock wants to do, which is the Operation Scorched Earth, where they basically want to make North America a whole. And that's why they did the evacuation. But Jean doesn't feel right with this. And she says there has to be a better way. But before her and Logan can really get into it, we pick up on some villains that were in Amazing X-Men, Copycat, and this other guy, I cannot remember his name. And while that's happening, we see these guys. And they say, what's his name? They say Pierce. So that name should ring a bell for longtime X-Men readers. So we'll get into that in a moment. But before any real damage can go on, Jean and Logan have a moment of connection. And it says right here, Jean, well, let's go ahead and go through it because this is really hard. It says, it's the screaming of the kids that triggers a flash of memory in Jean so strong that it jumps the silence between us like a spark gap. I remember it too. The ripping silk around old plasma weapons set to kill. The distracted air of the killers. The night I busted her out of the breeding pens. The dog soldiers were using their rejects for target practice. Her silence burns through the air at me like blue lightning. It's something deep and ancient. That ain't a word or a thought. It's the whole world turning to blood and fire. And it means kill. So, you can see why this means so much to Jean about trying to save human life. But before we go any further into that, the fight ends. And Jean's like, it's over, Logan. This is war, Jean. Don't you understand? This is about killing the enemy before it kills us. And so he's saying, I'm going to do what I have to do. You do what you have to do, Jean. And so Logan goes to report to the Human High Council. He has a moment with Mariko. And he come to find out that she actually knew him before the Age of Apocalypse. She goes, you needn't be so formal, Logan, son. You called me Mary when I knew you in Japan. He's like, that was years ago. And so you find out that Mariko has second thoughts about the Scorched Earth project too. She goes, I want to believe there's another way, Logan, son. That seems to be a popular line among ladies of my acquaintance. And so she's saying, I want to trust Braddock. But it's like he has a vested interest. And he goes, of course he does. Braddock Industries manufactures the Sentinels. So right there, what do you call it? People that benefit from the war. So it's kind of like, geez Louise. So before they can have any further talk about Braddock, remember Pierce? He's part of the Ravengers. Is it the Ravengers? I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me know down in the comments. But gorgeous splash page. And anyway, Pierce is working for Apocalypse at this point. He goes, by the way, we're not mutants. We're alerted humans. And what they're going after is the guidance control that's supposed to help with the Scorched Earth project. And before the High Council can react, Logan just jumps into the burning balloon that Pierce is part of. And, oh man, this artwork is so great by the art team. Just look at that. The deformity of the cyborgs. And their psychoness of how they just don't have any type of care for human life. And then here comes Logan. And this harkens back to the cover. And he knows who it is. He goes, Pierce. And so all the cyborgs try to take him down. But something happens. I don't want to give it away. But in the end, Logan survives. But he looks rough. And Jean is basically saying goodbye. And she's saying goodbye to him telepathically. So this is kind of them breaking up at this point. He goes, I can't let you go back to the States to warn them about what's coming. And she says, you'll have to stop me, Logan. Because I can never live with either one of us if I didn't try to stop what was about to happen. And so this is kind of a memorable panel from the Age of Apocalypse. We've seen that in quite a few preview pages. And what I like is she actually says, if you ever truly love me, make it quick. Whew. This is a really deep emotional book when it comes to Logan and Jean in this issue and the things that they're having to deal with in this hellscape that is the Age of Apocalypse. So if you guys are interested in finding out everything that's been happening, please make sure to support your local comic shop and pick up this book. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe, and hit that fancy little apocalypse bell next to subscribe. That way, as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the page, and we'd love to have a dialogue and hear feedback from y'all down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.